This is KUGAN CASSIUS Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're at the heavy duty press conference ahead of September the 12th. Joshua versus Cornish with me. Looking a little bit better than the other day.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after the fight? After the
fight, yeah.
I feel really, I feel old today and tired.
You were getting to you a bit.
It was, no, it was just like, ooh, that was almost like Only Fools and Horses. Anyway, yeah, Saturday was, it's just when you do a show like that, it's just ups and downs, ups and downs. Obviously the Quig was just brilliant, so pleased for him, and then Crolla was just a double kick in the nuts, wasn't it? So, then went back to the hotel and had about 6 pizzas.
Had a bit.
Yeah, and then back to it today, mate. Back to the grind here at the press conference.
Yeah.
And just got an update from the O2. Tickets are absolutely flying. VIPs are sold out. Ringside's nearly sold out. So people excited about this one. First major title for Anthony Joshua.
It's a shame, obviously, Gary Cornish. Well, he's still on his way here. So
yeah, he's flying from Inverness, which is the deepest part of Scotland. 3-hour delay to his flight. He should be in 2 minutes for a photo shoot with Anthony.
Announced today, obviously, come to Joshua and Cornish in a minute, but obviously you've got the rematch on between Hibbert and Ryan.
Yeah.
Also Connor and Boylan.
Tommy Martin. DILLIAN WHYTE will also be on the bill as well.
Yeah.
And another great little fight to be announced in the next 24 hours for the card as well. So young Reece Bellotti, who, trust me, is one of the most exciting young featherweights in world boxing. Jake Ball making his debut. Ted Cheeseman making his debut as well. It's a packed card, and it's going to be a big crowd there at the O2 to see Anthony fighting for his first title.
I listened to Tommy Gilmore speak there, and I spoke to him earlier on, and you said the same thing. Cornish is probably the first live opponent that Joshua would have faced in his career so far. So
yeah, Tommy, I've known Tommy since I was, blimey, might have even been probably 5 or 6, and he's a very careful manager. You know, he doesn't really take any risks. And when we came onto him for the fight, he said, "Oh, can't we do it in the spring?" You know, and then he put it to Gary Cornish, and Gary Cornish said, "100% get me that fight." And like you say, I think he's definitely the first live opponent. What I mean by live is someone that's actually coming to try and knock Anthony Joshua out. I know others talk a good game, but I think they've all been in survival mode. Even Kevin Johnson was in survival mode, and look what happened to him. So this is 6'6" in Anthony Joshua against 6'8" in Gary Cornish. Cornish is 21-0, also undefeated as an amateur as well. He can punch. Joshua's looked sensational, and then we'll see. You know, it's nice to take him the traditional route. Obviously, the winner of this is going to go on and fight DILLIAN WHYTE for the British and Commonwealth title, and then I'd like him to pick up the European as well, fight Hearn Tepper. But it's nice to do so. And I remember when I told him about the Commonwealth title, he said, "I remember Lennox Lewis fighting for that against Razor Ruddock," and that's true. And actually, just after that, he fought Tony Tucker for the WBC title. So Joshua is on the verge of probably 3 fights from starting to looking at world title fights.
When you obviously considered Cornish for the fight on September 12th, did you take into consideration his banter levels?
Banter was important. He's a pretty serious dude, scary looking geezer. I'm not sure about his banter, but you know, I know about his record and I know that he's game. But banter probably will step aside now. You're going to get a lot of banter from DILLIAN WHYTE, I think. You know, DILLIAN WHYTE was a fight that we looked at for September 12th, but he didn't have the preparation anywhere near that to go into a fight like that. And the titles were important. Obviously, when that Commonwealth title became vacant from Lucas Brown, this was the perfect fight for him to make. The Commonwealth wanted it to be Joshua against Cornish, and I'm pleased to make the fight.
Is Joshua versus Price dead in the water now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, David Price, he's such a lovely bloke. Like you could never say a bad word about him, but something's not right. And you could see that from the first round. It wasn't just the knockout punch. Something's not right, and I don't know about his future in boxing. I have no, you know, nothing to do with it, and actually it's none of my business, to be honest with you. But if you're asking me for my opinion, you know, if Hearn Tepper's not a world beater, he can obviously punch, but in a ring with like an Anthony Joshua would be really dangerous. and not because he's not a good heavyweight, because he is a good heavyweight, but something's not right. You know, and I don't know whether that's long term, short term, fixable, whatever. So, Price Joshua is, it's not a fight that you could look at right now for sure.
What about Joshua Lucas Brown? Is that an option for the future?
Like that, yeah. There's loads, isn't there? I mean, I know that obviously when we were talking about Marius Wack, that was a good fight. Not as well known, couldn't have been for a title. Winkle, how's he getting on? Okay, because he's got to get away, hasn't he, as well? Yeah. Okay. So you've got, I was talking to Josh about opponents today. Obviously, Dillian White's lined up next. Tony Thompson, I really like. Erkan Tepa, I really like. Eric Molina, I like. Manuel Char, I like. So there's plenty of options for him. It's becoming harder and harder to match. It's quite nice that his next two are done. So we know where we're going sort of short term, but you're going to get to a stage where probably spring, summer, he'll be ready for Deontay Wilder. Fury could beat Klitschko, and if Fury loses, Joshua Fury's huge. And if Fury wins, Joshua Fury's mega. So I don't think he's going to be short of opponents. They just want a little bit more dough than normal.
What about the option of fighting him abroad?
I think we need to. This is a huge market for him. We know, sorry to talk about pay-per-view, but Anthony Joshua is eventually going to be obviously a pay-per-view fighter. So this is his market. Do we go and box on the undercard of Klitschko Fury? Maybe. Do we go and box in the States at some point? Maybe. But he's gone past the 8 and 10 round tune-up level now. Everything's going to be a championship fight moving forward. So to do that, obviously he's going to be on huge money, and we have to do that where most money will be for that fight. I think longer term, you're more likely to see him box in the States, defending his world heavyweight title.
Just going back to high stakes over the weekend, obviously the WBA put something out yesterday, I believe, about reviewing the scoring. Can you just break that down to exactly what that means?
They have like an agency that represents them to look at the actual judging and scoring of the bout. We'll see what comes out of that. I wrote to Gilberto Mendoza and have asked for an immediate rematch and appealed the decision. There isn't one person that felt that it was a draw. There isn't one person that felt that Perez won it. Gilberto Mendoza thought Crolla won it. The supervisor thought Crolla won it. The British Boxing Board of Control
thought that Perez won it. That's probably the only one.
But I think that the British Boxing Board of Control have also written to the WBA, suggesting that there should be a rematch of the bout. I've spoken to Gary Shaw, Perez's promoter, who I think are quite interested in a rematch as well. And if it can't be ordered, then we have to try and make it through negotiation. So I'm quietly confident that it will be ordered. And if not, I'm quietly confident that we can get it as another voluntary defence.
Funny enough, at the hotel the other day, I saw Perez and his team and shook Perez's hand and started talking English.
Nice people. I mean, it's not her fault.
They just said, basically, they said that. So will you come over? And they did that.
Well, that's that. Yeah, that means money. So, listen,
no, I know.
At the end of the day, if we have to pay up, we have to pay up. I know that fight on its own fills the MEN. So, yeah, we can pay up. Don't tell Gary Shaw, but we can pay up, and we'll probably have to. But that's boxing, isn't it? And I will do everything I can to make that rematch.
Just finally, will you look to push for KUGAN next?
Yeah, I've got a meeting with our Heyman's team early next week to talk about all kinds of different things, and obviously Frampton Quig is one of the things we'll be discussing. It's even bigger now after the weekend. I know I spoke before about making him a new offer. I don't really think I need to. I think, not being funny, but I think anyone with any common sense has to say that Quig is in a better position now than he was on Friday. Do you go along with that?
But doesn't necessarily mean he's in a better position than Frampton.
Maybe not. That's up for debate. But yes, all I'm saying is that as of Fridays, so if I've made an offer before and now he's in a better position, don't I go back and say, actually, the offer still stands, but really I think you should take it? I don't know. We'll see what they've got to say. And maybe they want to box out in America, I don't know. But for me, I want to make the big fights in the UK, and that's one that's really, really big.
Did you end up going up to, obviously, Amir Khan at the end of his interview. I don't know if you watched the interview.
No, I haven't watched the interview, but I spoke to him, and I'm going to try and have a little chat this week or something. And I just feel like if he's missed the Mayweather fight, which he looks like he has, he can't fight him till May anyway, and that might not even happen. So surely the Brook fight is the one that should be made. And he's not an idiot. I mean, I think he knows that's a massive fight. He might be thinking about that fight longer term, but I think now's the time to jump on it. I really do.
Get yourself up to Bolton. That's what he said in the interview.
Yeah, not a problem. Been there in a heartbeat. Just waiting on the day at the moment.
All right, Fury Klitschko press conference tomorrow in Düsseldorf.
Good luck. Be very great
very
fun. Tyson
interesting.
Fury is always entertaining.
All right, Eddie, and thanks for talking to IFL TV, and talk to you very, very soon.
Cheers, mate.